going to walk you through some of the Mustelidae. So Mustelidae is the largest of the carnivore families here in Wisconsin. We've got a pretty good diversity of Mustelids, fishers, American martens, long-tailed, short-tailed weasels, least weasels, badgers, otters, are all Mustelids. So now, typical Mustelid, so these are hypercarnivores, so they're all going to have a very well-developed postglenoid process on the squamosal to lock in the lower jaw. This is an American marten, and so the martens and the weasels have a cool adaptations here at the back of the jaw. They retain this last molar. But to shorten the tooth row, to increase the bite forces at the hinge, this last molar is kind of deflected medially about 90 degrees. So you have a nice straight tooth row, and then that last molar just takes a 90-degree turn toward the center of the skull. And that effectively shortens the tooth row, but it also gives them a nice large chomping surface there. And you'll see that in martens, fishers. You'll also see it in the weasels, as well as in, I think in the mink as well. We'll have that deflected last molar. Now, some of our other mustelids don't quite have that same morphology, but they're specialized for other diets. One of our more specialized mustelids is the otter. So otters have a very particular shape in the skull. I would say one of the more diagnostic things on the otter is this postorbital process of the frontal bone is kind of pretty far forward here on the frontal, kind of sharp looking, and that's pretty diagnostic. It's got a very large, smooth brain case as well, and then the teeth are specialized for piscivory. So we've got again, these two large kind of sharp molars here. You kind of get a little bit of a deflection here, but both of these large molars here are working together to chomp up those fish. Again, you get a large postglenoid process, and that's going to articulate here with a very prominent angular process on the dentary bone. So that is an otter, just another Wisconsin mammal that you might, I guess you could confuse it, because it also has a postorbital process of the frontal, but it's just a different shape. This is the American badger. And on the badger, you got a nice prominent occipital ridge. There's your kind of a sagittal crest, and then you've got like this frontal ridge here that terminates at the frontal, the postorbital process of the frontal. And then here's the kind of the crushing teeth on the American badger. And then the last one I'll show you isn't necessarily a Wisconsin mustelid, but not every pointer stays in Wisconsin. So this is gulo. So this is a scientific name that you should know. Gulo is the Wolverine. And in the Wolverine, you've got a very prominent sagittal crest here. But what really makes gulo impressive are these very cecodont teeth. So these are very strong bite forces, but you actually do get a very prominent deflection of that last molar in gulo as well in the Wolverine, but you get a very large, these two teeth here are just amazing. Again, these are scavengers. They can crush through bone, so you get a very large prominent carnassial pair in the Wolverines. Okay, and that's the Mustelidae.